Do you believe in fate? That people are born to be and live in one way? That given another shot at life, they would be relegated to repeat their mistakes, repeat their errors, fall back into being second place, fall back into being the villain? We love revenge! I've talked about this a couple months back. There are plenty of Webtoon original series that love to take a look at revenge, and yeah, some of the most crazy fun Webtoon drama series have been these time regression series. A pretty good example is Marry My Husband. This series is like fireworks, bright, flashy, really fun, but to, some people, they might lack a little bit of substance, which is, in my opinion, a very reasonable objection to this series. If I'm being honest, I'm still kind of surprised that this series has more to offer. I mean, like, the entire premise of the story is that she wants to marry her toxic best friend off with the husband in her previous life who caused her death, and she did that. And then said husband in the new timeline died, and then that toxic best friend went to jail. Like, the whole point of the series is to get revenge, and I mean, I'd say revenge has been got. But like I said, a couple months back, I talked about revenge with this series, as well as the Remarried Empress, because of a new series that combined both of these different types of series together on the Queen of This Life. Taking the politics and settings of kingdoms and princes and all that fun stuff from the Remarried Empress and the death of the main character, sending her back in time with all her future knowledge still intact, for her to get revenge on those who've wronged her, specifically a close toxic female and an abusive husband that somehow both led to her death. Okay, it might take a little more from one than the other, but you know what else it takes from the Remarried Empress? Being more than just its premise. Oh, get done, Tom, marry my husband! I still like the series. The point is that I'm the Queen of This Life has much more than meets the eye. Yeah, sure, marriage, death, time regression, revenge, romance, yeah. It's all there. But I wanted to take a look at, surprise, the characters. The characters in I'm the Queen of This Life are some of your standard romance revenge characters. We have our main character, Ariadne, someone who spent her previous life as someone much less confident, someone who let other people walk all over her and choose her own life for her. Next, we have Ariadne's toxic older sister, Isabella, Little Miss Perfect, loved by everyone in the kingdom. She also has a bratty little sister who isn't all that important right now, a toxic mother who clearly loves Isabella more than any of her other kids, a brother who's MIA, a father who's neglectful and prideful at best, a lady in waiting who's on her side, her ex, and a potential new love interest. These characters might seem a little cliched, but I'm actually kind of a fan of all of them. I'm gonna brush past Ariadne to talk about her family. Isabella is kind of presented as the villain of the series. She's conniving, wildly fake. She's desperate for attention. She steals people's ideas and things, just physical things sometimes. She plays the villain, and when is caught, explodes at others or pretends to cry or something like that. I don't know. Her mother is just as much of an awful person. Someone showed that I don't really need to get too into it. She just sucks. That's all you need to know. But it's our other characters where the series gets really interesting. You see, these time regression revenge series are pretty black and white. These guys are the good guys. These guys are the bad guys. These guys hurt you in the past and they don't deserve your forgiveness. It's a kind of weird take, but then again, revenge stuff ain't exactly the most ethical? I mean, it's very toxic, to say the least. You know how many parables or lessons there are about revenge not being a good idea? That's not the point. The point is that time regression revenge series are pretty black and white, right or wrong, good and bad. Which is why I think I'm the Queen of This Life kind of changes the game. And this is seen specifically with two characters, one of who is very surprising. I mentioned before that Ariadne has a little sister. Initially, Arabella is presented as kinda annoying, a bratty little sister who immediately despises Ariadne because she's born of a lesser class. And while she's not presented as evil as Isabella, she's not exactly portrayed in a good light. But she's also portrayed as lonely. Out of all the siblings, from the eldest and only son of the family, who we haven't really seen much of, the pride and joy Isabella, even Ariadne, although she came from a low status, she was seen as enough to be traded away for marriage. Look, I'm not saying that's good, but it's something. All these siblings have something going for them. And while Arabella is a prodigy with musical instruments, she has no pull or influence in the family. This is seen when Ariadne does some sneaky, shady stuff in the background, showing that if Isabella asks for a pipe organ, woman, they get her one. But when Arabella asks for one, they don't give her the time of day. And this is especially shown when Isabella takes credit for Arabella's music piece. And when it's played wrong and Arabella comes to the rescue, their mother gets furious at her for embarrassing Isabella. I bring this up for a specific reason. Arabella wasn't seen as a good person, or someone to win over, or someone she needed to ally herself with, but it was through Ariadne, well, through her trickery, that Arabella saw how unloved she was in her own household by her own family. This is a kind of weird distinction from other revenge type of series. Arabella was 100% the victim of her circumstance, but she still wasn't portrayed as a good person, or at the very least not someone on Ariadne's side. Normally, you're with the main character or you're against them. But here we're presented another victim lashing out, another victim who needed something, another victim who was unloved, someone who was in the same position as Ariadne. And it was through Ariadne that Arabella was able to see that and also change. We see her becoming nicer, even starting to become closer to Ariadne, hanging out with her, talking with her, being a little sister. Look, redemption arcs aren't anything new. I've talked about them way back. I should probably talk about them again. But redemption arcs and revenge drama series don't exactly mesh well. It's kind of hard to redeem characters when you're actively trying to get revenge on like half of them. But the point still stands. Redemptions and revenge, they don't add together. But interestingly enough, I'm the Queen of This Life takes on this challenge with probably the character you'd least expect it. There's an important character I have yet to talk about. In most of these revenge, time regression, romance, drama stuffs, there's always the ex. The ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance. These exes are technically not exes in the current timeline. I mean, they can be ex-boyfriends, but usually not ex-husbands or fiancés, or I don't care. On the Queen of This Life, we have Cesar. Cesar is, for lack of a better term, a tyrant. At the start of the series, we see that he basically overthrows the current reigning monarchy, has his fiancée Ariadne kill the prince, proceeds to keep her as just his fiancée for 7 years, then gets married to her sister Isabella. Said sister also gets Ariadne killed. So yeah, Cesar ain't exactly winning any awards. And while that was in the old timeline, these types of series kind of make everyone stay in the same position or the same character, no matter what their timeline is. Hey, Marry My Husband, our main character's ex sucks as a human being. Same with Perfect Marriage Revenge. Same with any other series that are like this that I don't read. These exes suck. And our main character has to take revenge on them, or to get one over them by being successful or finding true love. And we stand by our main characters because the ex sucks. They suck no matter what timeline they're in. Which brings us to Cesar. Like I said, Cesar ain't winning any awards. Even in the current timeline, can we just mention how crazy it is that I'm talking about 2 different timelines in romance series? Anyways, Cesar is not great. He's pretty rude, condescending, entitled, possessive. He's a playboy. He's the son of a king, but not the queen, so he'll never be the future ruler. This is all adding together to lead him to be a tyrant of a person. Someone who would overthrow the reigning monarchy and just be, a terrible husband. But fascinatingly, that doesn't really appear to be the case. Cesar is annoying throughout the series, and weirdly possessive and a playboy, but he's never really shown to cross a line into being an awful human being of a person. And this is shown a lot, specifically through Ariadne. Yeah, his first meeting with Ariadne isn't amazing, but he still has a lot of weirdly fun and playful banter with her. He's sent by the king to be her debutante ball partner. You don't really need to know about that. And compared to other men throughout the series, Cesar is honestly not all that bad. And this is highlighted at the Royal Hunting Contest. It's a contest where they hunt or something, I don't know. But the point is that after a successful hunt, or sometimes doesn't need to be successful, a lady will give a handkerchief to someone as a token of her favor. It was basically a way of people getting together in that time period. Cesar even sent a letter to her saying, "I'm gonna win the contest, please give me your favor," kind of thing. But he specifically talks about the golden stag. It's something that he talks about a lot. It's a rare mythical being that there's a legend that whoever slays it will become the future king or ascend to the throne or something. Anywho, during the contest, Ariadne gets separated and shot at by the beta male. It hits her horse, but said horse immediately runs off and is about to jump off a cliff, but she's saved by Cesar. In fact, Cesar comes in clutch throughout this entire arc. He brings her to safety. He brings evidence to prove that the beta male sucks and is guilty when Ariadne is struggling. In fact, he gives up the thing he was obsessed about, the golden stag, the thing he talked all his life about hunting down. He helps her with seemingly no agenda. In fact, we've been getting more and more of Cesar, seeing how it wasn't his goal to make it to the throne. He knew he would never make it to the throne, but it was his mother's ambition that drove him to do it. And how he felt unloved and ignored when Alfonso was born, always feeling like second place. It's honestly a really different and really refreshing and not to mention better way of showing off Cesar, because it's just true to life. People change as time goes on, for better or for worse. Given other chances and opportunities, meeting the right people at the right time can really change who people become in the future. People aren't binaries that you switch on or off, jerk or hero, and I think it really works well in the series. And to me, it makes this series shine above all other royal revenge romance series that we've had in the past, or at least in this timeline. So make sure to check out I'm the Queen of This Life, updating every week on Webtoon.